The number one mistake many startups make is building something customers aren't willing to pay for. And unfortunately, they typically realize this mistake after they've spent significant time, effort, and often money building a product that's dead on arrival. Fortunately, the Lean Launchpad approach can help you reduce the risk of becoming one of these casualties. The first test of business viability for any new venture is product market fit. Rather than assuming if you build it, they will come, you need to be certain that you are designing a solution that truly fits with the important expectations and needs of customers in the market you hope to serve. Now, the key to establishing product market fit is designing a unique value proposition. Designing a value proposition is an iterative process of turning your initial assumptions into validated facts that prevent you from building that product that no one wants. So what is a value proposition? A value proposition is not a list of technical features and specifications. What it is a clear and compelling statement of the benefit you are offering and how that benefit addresses specific and important customer needs. It's really a customer-centric statement, not a tech-centric list of features. So there's three key ingredients. The first is quantified value. Value is how you create value and benefit to the customer against the problems they're trying to solve. Quantified value is how much. So how much more money are you saving? How much more performance benefit are you creating? How much more reliability or productivity improvement are you helping the customer realize? Quantified value is critical because that's what shows the customer your idea or your solution is relevant to them and it's uniquely differentiated from the competitors and alternatives. Now, the place to start is with one of the most important tools in your Innovator's Toolkit, and that's the Value Proposition Canvas. This canvas lets you systematically test your assumptions regarding the customer needs and regarding the specific features and benefits you need to deliver to that customer to satisfy those needs better than the alternatives. As you can see here in the Value Proposition Canvas, on the right, we have three elements comprising customer needs, and on the left, we've got three elements comprising your value proposition. So let's take a closer look at each of these elements. The place to start is always with the customer on the right-hand side of the canvas. And specifically, we want to start by understanding the customer jobs. What is the customer trying to accomplish? What goals are they trying to achieve? What tasks are they trying to perform? What process do they use to get there? So it's what work are they trying to do and how do they do that work today? Now, we typically think of the customer as the end user, and that's a very important customer, but often there are more customer roles or stakeholders in the purchase process than just that end user. So it's really important to understand who are these various customer roles and what are their specific and unique needs and expectations. So for example, if you're building a solution for a consumer market, the consumer would certainly be the end user, probably also the decision maker and the purchaser or payer. So they play three roles, one individual. That's a little simpler. If you're building a solution for a business in a B2B model, then it gets a little more complex because let's say you're designing a new app and the end user is the IT professional in the IT organization. That end user has a certain set of needs and expectations, but isn't the decision maker. It's probably someone in senior management who will make the decision for a slightly different set of reasons, and there's probably a purchasing agent somewhere in the organization that is going to have the ability to say no, not necessarily the ability to say yes. So it's important to identify early who the various customer roles or stakeholders are, and understand the goals and jobs of each one of these key stakeholders. Once you've identified the job they're trying to do and you're understanding how they do that job today, then you want to dig a little deeper. What are the specific pains they're experiencing as they complete that job in the current state? That is, what are the obstacles they have to overcome, the frustrations they experience, the performance barriers that frustrate them? These are limitations that they are aware of typically and they can articulate to you. By contrast, a customer gain is maybe similar or maybe the opposite of a pain, but it's a delighter. I often think of these as the wants versus the needs. It's the icing on the cake. These are elements that, if you could provide them, would delight the customer. They aren't necessarily frustrated by it today, but boy, it sure would be nice if you can deliver those gains. So you really want to understand the important pains that already exist and the gains that would be those delighters that add incremental value. And we also want to think about these pains and desired gains through three lenses. There are functional, emotional, and social benefits that the customer is going to care about. Functional benefits are the more typical ones we think about. Does it perform at the level they expect? Does it have the reliability? Does it have the cost? I want those functional benefits for sure. But emotional benefits may have nothing to do with that. The current solution may complete the job with great accuracy, but it might be frustrating. It might be difficult to use or inconvenient. I wish that user interface wasn't so cumbersome. I get the job done, but I'm emotionally frustrated by that current solution. That's an opportunity for innovation. Similarly, social needs might be status. Many users want to be using the state-of-the-art, the best new equipment or the best new solution. They may want to be able to connect and collaborate with peers more effectively than they can today. So in addition to just identifying functional needs, you're also looking for their emotional and social needs that matter. Now, once we've defined on the right side the work to be done and the most important pains and desired gains that the customer experiences, then we shift to the right and we start to identify what are our assumptions about the elements of a solution that will really matter, the product or service that will best address those needs more effectively than the current alternatives. Now, the way I like to think about this product and service category is as a solution. And a solution is usually a bundle of offerings, elements, features that address the most important pains and desired gains of the customer. In many cases, this might include hardware, software, services like training or fix-on-fail services. It might include a warranty to protect the customer's risk if they spend a lot of money and are afraid that money will be lost in the case of failure. So there's no right answer to what goes into this category, but it's really important that you identify the most important elements based on the highest priority pains and desired gains of the customer. And then once you have that list of features and benefits that you intend to offer, then you test, do they truly achieve the benefit that the customer wants? Do these features relieve the most important pains? Do they provide the most important gains? So linking back to the customer in terms that matter to the customer, benefits, not features. That helps you define your solution and communicate your solution in terms of value for that customer. Now, ultimately, a great value proposition has to have a number of characteristics. Here's a great list of 10. I want to hit just a few of those. First, a good value proposition should absolutely focus on what matters most to the customer, and typically that's the most important unresolved pains. Pains typically trump gains, so if you can address a current pain that frustrates the customer, that's powerful. Go beyond the functional jobs. As we've mentioned, oftentimes emotions trump logic, so you want to be able to identify social and emotional needs that could in fact be real differentiators. And you want to, wherever possible, learn how the customer measures success. What metrics do they use? How are they performing today? And how can you demonstrate quantified value by demonstrating your solution will improve the customer's performance on the metrics they really care about? And last but not least, you need to outperform your competition on at least one dimension and preferably do so substantially. If you can do more than one dimension, awesome. But you must at least perform substantially better in one dimension, and you've got to figure out how to protect your advantage. Having an advantage isn't sustainable if you can't protect it. So these are a number of characteristics by which you can judge the effectiveness of your value proposition. And at the end of the day, it's a really high-quality value proposition that establishes the foundation for your business success.